What's good, family? Welcome to Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Jeff on this side, Chrissy on the other side. We're here to recap Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 3, Episode 2, Flip Mode. Shout out to everybody joining us live. See y'all going crazy in the chat. Salute to you. Shout out to everybody listening on audio and watching on the replay. Like this video if you love what you're hearing. Subscribe so that you can get more from us live and on YouTube. And shout out to Audio Gang. Wherever you get podcasts, that's where they are listening. You can follow us everywhere. Power After Hours. Twitter, IG, YouTube. That's where we're at. Chrissy, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. You got to say X now. It's X. It's not Twitter anymore. You know what I mean?
FKA Twitter. I'll say FKA Twitter.
I am literally not on there anymore because I refuse.
Even when people report it, they call it X parentheses, formerly Twitter, because it was a stupid idea to change the name in the first place. So I'm going to call it by its African slave name, Twitter.
I agree.
Instead of using the gentrified name.
Icon changed. I was like, this is some bull. This is some bull. Like, why would you change my app?
Y'all know it's Twitter. So y'all go to Twitter. Y'all do what y'all got to do.
You know
Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. You call it X, I'm calling it Twitter. Mama named it Twitter, I'm going to call it Twitter.
Listen, I'm gonna call it Twitter too. I don't care because guess who's not on it? Me.
Right.
But anyway,
Chrissy definitely abandoned.
I'm having a great day. I'm in a festive mood. Okay, got my little Christmas shirt on, I'm ready to rock.
I see you. She got the ugly Christmas shirt gang going. Not the ugly Christmas sweater, the ugly Christmas shirt. No, that's the name of it. I am not calling it ugly. That's the name of it.
I feel like there was a little shade.
Why are you giving me Keith Lee hands right now? Why are you giving me Keith Lee hands? Why are you giving me?
It's fine.
I'm wearing a Christmas shirt.
Guess who has the wife's number? Okay,
that's fine.
You didn't have to make fun of my shirt.
No, I wasn't. I'm just saying you giving me Keith Lee hands talking about Jeff has just seen my Christmas shirt. He's going to rate it 1 through 10.
1 through 10.
1 through 10. It's all good now. Styling, you ready to go, and they was ready to go in this episode of Power. I think we got another banger on our hands and an expansion on what happened in that explosive season premiere. Chrissy, what did you think about the episode?
Ooh, child, they not letting us breathe. I mean, I feel like every time this show for some reason they just can't give me a moment to catch my breath. This was a good, solid episode. I mean, the writing, the acting. I feel like watching this episode, Patina Miller just gets stronger in her character as Rock. And so does Marvin's character. You know, they're all just growing so well in this season. So this episode really was good. I mean, I loved it from start to finish. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah, I liked it because we got more of an understanding of who the key players are and what the key theme is going to be. And I look at this theme as a recurring theme throughout every Power book. The main characters try to get out the game, and there's someone or something pulling them back.
Unbelievable.
We spoke about last week about how we don't know if Rock really is real about leaving the game, but it seems like she is. From everyone she tells, it seems like she really is, but we see early on in the episode, there's higher powers who say, I think you ain't done yet. You ain't done yet. You got a job. Whatever you want to do in your personal life, if you want to retire, you do that, but you got to handle business. And we see that when Stefano Marchetti kidnaps her and Unique, brings them to an abandoned parking lot, and basically tells them, yo, we got a job for you. We got one more job for you, Rock, and that is to take out Sal Baselli because he's been doing too much, and the Mafia has a code. It's almost as if the Mafia is like corporate America, and instead of punching your coworker in the face, you got to take it to HR. And this is how the mob families rock because of the rules, quote unquote. They can't go and directly handle business without starting a massive war or upsetting people even higher on the food chain than them. So they have to find backdoor ways to solve their internal family problems. And this is Stefano's solution to call Rock and her people who already had beef with them to take Sal out for him. What did you think about that whole setup?
I mean, damn. First of all, let me just say, when watching Unique feed Rock some ice cream,
butter pecan.
I mean, I just, for some reason, it just threw me off. I was like, what's happening? Like, I'm just not used to their relationship yet. It's going to take me some time. I don't know if it's because I looked at Rock as more of a motherly figure and overall, and so I'm just like, this is weird right now. Mm-hmm. But, watching that scene and knowing that they have this rule where you can't kill a boss, you know what I mean, without, like you said, starting some type of war, they enlist Rock, who is, honestly, who else would you want? Like, she's got beef with him because of what he pulled multiple times, trying to take her out and losing the battle multiple times. So, I love that he gets her to do it, but at the same time, I feel like Rock, while she may want out, I feel like she still gets joy in handling business, if that makes sense. Like, for her, this was always a business. She ran her family like a business, which now we're seeing, bite her in the head with Lou. But, it is what it is. I think it was the best option to have her take him out. And, it worked for once. For once.
Yeah, it's I loved Stefano calling Unique everything but unique, unusual, ubiquitous, understanding.
And he was coming up with some good names too. It was good names. And Unique, calling him Little Linguini. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, they was going on. I love the banter. Who was it that we used to have the names for, where we used to put the different names for? I'm thinking of Condola from Insecure, where people were calling her Condoleezza, Consequences.
Different name, like if it's
Conduit.
It is, and that's unique. That's unique for right now, okay? But I love that he even said, like, I know your mother didn't give you that name. Like,
right. And seeing Tony Danza play like the stereotypical Italian mobster, it's pretty cool. It's a little bit of a mind F for me, because I know him from Who's the Boss. I know him from all his other roles and Taxi and all these other roles. And to see him there as like an Italian mobster is just crazy. Just him saying how black people get better nicknames than everybody else. And then they get stuck with like the fish or the hand or the finger. And he's like, y'all call yourselves unique. Y'all call yourselves rock. Like, it makes sense. Like we did elevate the nickname game. Black culture did elevate the nickname, because it could be something that's so disrespectful but so appropriate that you could flip it into something that's a positive for you. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, that one part of his commentary, I thought it was so much fact. Like, it was just, I was laughing when he said that, because I was like, yeah, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. He telling the truth.
And it gets even deeper when you go into like, different cultures and the names that you come up with. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we can come up with names for days in the Haitian culture. Like, everybody has a name. So I love Tony Danza. I think his character works for me. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure at first, because like you said, I do look at him as, the dad and the fatherly figure, but he's playing this role very well.
Right. Exactly.
He's rocking. Doing it too.
What's up? Oh,
he looks handsome doing it too. He's definitely giving Zaddy vibes. I'm like, okay.
That sounds like the conversation him and Unique were having in the in the fish spot, where they started comparing the mating rituals of those fish to real life, and how he's like, yo, we just, I'm good at conversation. I might not be the biggest fish in the world, but I know how to operate. So I thought that was really good. But you see Rock trying to leave the game, and it's almost as if she's willing it. She's trying to will it into existence. And part of it is to try to repair her relationship with Kanan. And I think the other was, she just saw that this game is getting too big. Like, the stakes are getting too high, where all she wanted to do was run a business. And now you're getting static from the mob. FBI is sniffing around. She did the cost benefit analysis, and she's saying, I don't think I want any parts of that anymore. And I knew where it flipped for me that, okay, at least in her heart, she does want to get out, is when she went to Juliana and the Connect to tell them she was out. Because that's your main product supplier. If they out, if you out on them, then you're really shutting down business. Yeah, and if it's another thing that the bosses in power are gonna do is be bilingual. And I love the way they were talking about her in Spanish. And the whole time I'm like, y'all don't know whether or not she knows Spanish. Y'all talking about her as if she ain't there. She don't know Spanish, of course, because she black. And you don't know if she's just Black American. You don't know anything, but that's the hubris that you would have, is that people will assume that just because you look a certain way, you don't understand the language. And when she responded in Spanish, I was like, oh, she got him. Because I tell y'all, I don't know how it is in other cultures that speak different languages, but Haitians are good for talking about you and they don't know whether or not you're Haitian. I've been in many of an elevator where they start going off and you are involved. And once you respond, it's the nervous laughter like, okay. You're Haitian? Where your family from? No, you said I was a bum. Let's talk about that.
You called me a bum, bro. Like,
let's talk about that.
Or the equivalent for women, a whore, right? And you over here talking.
Right.
And I know everything you're saying, Shelly. I get it.
But then if I say I'm going to call ICE, I'm wrong.
You better have your papers.
Yeah, let me check let me see your ID. Y'all want to talk bad about this. That's when I start. That's when the red, white, and blue comes out from under the shirt. And I'm starting being patriotic. I'm saluting bald eagles. All that. You want to talk about me. But I thought that was really pivotal. What did you think about that scene of her talking about them getting out the game?
I actually love that, because that's not the first time they've had conversations in front of her in Spanish. And Rock this whole time has played the game and never once showed her hand. So, because Juliana, I know for a fact, was talking to her cousin in Spanish the last time they had that meeting when she was upset. So I love that Rock just threw that card on the table at the very end. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's what shows that she's really out, because if you're going to play that, you know that you're not coming back. And Juliana, I don't think that's definitely not the last we're going to see of her, because she has an axe. Like, she is not done because of what Unique did. And I love that her cousin essentially, he told her, he was like, you over here worried about us handling her. You need to be worried about her coming at your ass. Right. Because listen, when Rock gets upset, there's no more talking. You're dead. And the fact that she's left Juliana alive this long was nothing other than the fact that she needed them. And so the cousin knows she don't need us no more. You better be worried about your ass. And I love that he just laid that out for her, because she just doesn't get it. She just thinks that she has this, that she's sitting pretty. And it's like, girl, if Rock wants your ass, she can get you. And Rock's thing, I think it's getting so hot to the point where she doesn't have men surrounding her anymore. Like, you're looking at the Mafia, where these bosses don't go anywhere without having at least 20 people with them. And Rock has what? Marvin? That's it? Like,
the block is hot now.
Yeah, like, it's not even, it's a problem. Like, she has to level up. And I don't think she's willing to do that. So she's stepping away. But we'll see for how long.
We will see for how long. I don't know. I feel like the game is going to pull her back in, and it ain't gonna be pretty. I don't know if it's gonna be pretty. I feel like she definitely has 1 foot in, 1 foot out, begrudgingly, right? And when we talk about this last job that she has to have, this is where we get into the Marvin and the Sal of it all, right? Because I thought it was so dope to show Sal's perspective on everything that was going on. Because you remember from the last episode, Stefano told him he's messing stuff up. He got to go back to Jersey, leave New York alone. You bringing the feds out. it's too hot. You made it too hot. You got to go. This ends now. So back in Jersey, where he's trying to regroup and lay low and figure things out, the feds actually pull up on him and tell him straight up, there is communication on the wire at the highest levels that you're on the hit list.
Yep.
And if you cooperate with us, we can save you. We can protect you. But just know it's about to go down.
Yeah.
It's about to go down. And of course, he's playing the whole, I own a bowling alley. Who's going to be mad at me? Who wants to kill me off with some bowling balls and some bowling pins? And he ain't going to work with him because Sal knows the code. And he's still sticking by the code. Doesn't matter if people want him dead. But he gets that confirmation. And it was pretty eerie where you see him going through kind of like his own last rituals, where he's talking to his wife and reminiscing about the times, and his son that got killed, right? His son that got killed, and they're about to go to their grandson's christening. That whole setup where he knows if he leaves the house, there's a pretty good chance he's going to die. And his wife wants him to go to the christening because it's important and they need to carry on the legacy. And I thought him contemplating on his life was pretty ill. Director-wise, I thought they smoked it. They really killed it when they had that shot of him in front of the stained glass window. Like he was in a church. Yeah. If you've been in a church and you see the stained glass window with different religious figures and saints and stuff like that, you see him sitting down there kind of contemplating his life, where he knows this choice could possibly mean that he's out of here. Yeah. And maybe he should have listened to his gut. I don't know.
You should listen to that gut. Okay, that gut wasn't heartburn. Okay, it was telling you to sit your ass at home. And I really thought it was crazy that the feds pulled up and told him the truth. Like, because it was true, but he just had to still play by the code, which is wild. But, you know, those old school mob bosses, you're never going to get them. It's very rare that they turn. You know what I mean? So I thought it was crazy. But we all know, even if he did, he was going to die anyway. The feds can't protect nobody. How many times have we seen them on this show fumble the ball? Like, they can't protect shit. So, he knew what time it was. He knew he had messed up and he had done too much. I don't know if he really felt like, somebody in his crew would take him out in terms of like, one of the other bosses. But he knew, as when he's talking to his wife, that was the part that really hit me, because I felt like in that moment, he knew his time was up. And I feel like his wife also got that sense that, he's not going to be here much longer. But I still need you to do this, though. Like, I was like, this man is suffering and you still gonna make him come out there, take pictures in the open. Like, it was like you just didn't even care. It reminded me of The Godfather. I think it was I want to say whenever they shot him as he was coming, the boss, as he was leaving the church. And I believe it was for a christening as well. It was very much Godfather-esque. And it was Sal's time, though. He had done too much. He'd seen too much. He'd said too much. And unfortunately, his time was up. Was up.
Right. And Rock was kind of put between literally a rock and a hard place, where they told her, Stefano basically said, it's either y'all take care of Sal or we take care of all of y'all. You choose. You could be out the game. You could do whatever it is that you want to do. But if you don't get this job done, you're basically trading your life for his. And she entrusted Marvin with that.
Which is
she
crazy.
Entrusted Marvin, which Marvin has been kind of fumbling throughout this first couple of seasons. But he really did handle his business. And Jacoby, thank you so much for the super chat, says it. Mar stood on business this episode. And he really did. And you can see he's kind of evolved in a place where he understands the job. He's made peace with whatever issues he's had. Yeah. And now it's just about the living and then the carrying out and doing it based on his own motivations. And he knew the job had to be done. Rock told him, try to get Lou involved. Lou wasn't hearing it.
He said it's for Rock.
Right. But now he got his new road dog in Demo, the dude who was
giving him a
disabled
hard
in the
time in the
wheelchair.
building, bro.
Like that's like his road dog now. He
Yeah.
went from hating him, like getting upset, and think about what his counseling did. His counseling made that connection because instead of getting upset when he got cursed out, he did the breathing exercise from last season and was able to have him ride the elevator by himself because he needed it, which led to that mutual respect and him actually being his new road dog and assisting him with this hit. And I think it's pretty ill that if you think about it, Marvin took down the Baselli family indirectly. He's the reason why they set up that hit on Tony, his old joint, and got Marco killed, and then he finished the job on Sal. So I just think it's pretty ill that he is the reason why that Baselli family's got decimated pretty much.
Marvin is the shit. That's just what I got. I mean, Marvin, this season, it's wild. Like I say, all of the characters have really evolved, but Marvin's character, like, we've seen him go from not worth nothing. Rock would give him the bottom of the barrel task. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that she would have assigned to Lou if Lou was actually himself, you know? And so to see Marvin go through this episode as a whole, you know, when he's in the club with his brother, and the fact that Lou is just so out of it, and he tells him, like, no, you really are, like, worth nothing. Like, you don't got no peace. You ain't got nothing. Like, he can't even scope out the fact that you clearly see these two guys are looking at you. Right. And Marvin is just so aware. He understands. He's being a father. He's being a hitman. Like, he's being a brother. He's playing every single role well. And we see him take a shot and not miss, which is a problem we've had with Lou in the past. He misses when it's important. Marvin did his job, and I'm actually proud of him. Yeah, he killed somebody, 2 people to be exact, but he did a damn good job. Bravo, Marvin.
Hey, he did a little bit of murder, but at least he did the murder right. Yeah. He did the murder right this time. We're proud. Yep. We are showing continuous improvement in the way that you handle your illegal activity. Marvin salutes you. Good job. Chrissy is proud of you, and I'm sure the fans too, because him in this fully actualized version of himself is someone who is a real dangerous man for anybody who's going up against the Thomas family. Power After Hour, your favorite power podcast, reviewing Flip Mode, Season 3, Episode 2 of Raising Kanan, tapping in with you. Let me know how y'all feeling about this so far. Chat, you got any questions, lobby it to us. Like the video, share this, tell people to come in. We talking as a family about Raising Kanan, Season 3. Wow. And, you know, we're talking about the club and all of these things that have been going on. I gotta talk about Unique and Unique making those moves on his own too, where he's living a double life right now, trying to hook up with Rock and then having his family at home with his baby mom and his crazy ass brother. Don't get me started. I do not know what happened to him in the joint, but boy, that man, you could tell he is disturbed, and he came out with a singular purpose. And that's probably one of the reasons why Unique is trying to connect with Stefano to see, yo, I know you into this heroin, you're dealing this heroin. I need to be connected. And they have that conversationalist discussion where Stefano, you know, intelligently says, I don't know if Rock is really done. Does she know that you're here? I'm not trying to step on no toes or get in between any of that, right? And Unique says it straight up. She says she's out the game. I'm still in the game. We're going to take her words at face value. And I'm sure if that's not what it is, she'll let us know, which I think is fair.
Yep.
Because you not in it no more doesn't mean I'm not going to keep going. If you
Facts.
cutting off your connect, then what am I supposed to do? And I think part of that also is he's trying to get extra work to get Ronnie out that crib. So we'll see where that goes with him and Stefano and whether or not that creates conflict between him and Rock. But this guy, Ronnie, that scene where the bouncer kind of slights him and he is fixated on this bouncer for the whole rest of the night to the point where he don't want no women touching him. He don't want to drink. He don't want to party. He ain't trying to hear Unique on relaxing, saying that's not him. But he is just hyper focused on this dude and what he's going to do. It's like you could see the calculations forming on his head of the violence he wanted to inflict.
Yeah. They did a great job with the camera. Like the way they zoned in on his face, it was almost like you could see his eyes lasered in. Like it was great cinematography, but he scares the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna play this natural. We've had stone cold killers on this show. Okay. We've been doing this podcast for many, many, many years now. This is the first nigga that done scared me out my eye. Something about this dude don't sit right with my spirit, and he ain't done nothing yet. He ain't killed nobody. He has done nothing but be released from jail. But the vibes that he is giving, I am shook. And Unique's girl is shook. Unique is the only one that seems to not realize how crazy his brother is right now. He clearly was not like this before he went in. Now, he may have been a little off, but this is different. Like I feel like he's wants to kill. Like that, you get that vibe from people that killing makes them happy. Like sometimes I get that feeling from Tommy, but this dude, I am scared. Like I feel like he's gonna torture somebody. He's not just gonna shoot you. He gonna play around until he's done. He's scared. I'm sorry. He gives me serial killer vibes. I'm scared.
Yeah, those eyes are dead. He is dead and cold, and he has that stare, that icy stare that'll send a chill down your spine and make you walk across the side of the street to get away from him. And we're gonna see. It looks like he's gearing up for something. He's gearing up for something. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it bodes well for anyone. I think he's had his sights set on reclaiming his business at some point, and he don't really mess with Rock. So I could already see there's probably gonna be some clashes between him and Unique and Rock as they continue to move forward. We also got a resolution to some clashes that went on that I would call it a cliffhanger at the end of last episode with Howard taking out Burke.
Ooh.
And we see the aftermath of Howard taking Burke out, which is they have this funeral. You see Jukes, she's watching the funeral from afar, or at least the incoming procession. And Howard giving a eulogy at Burke's funeral to the person that he killed. And it was a rousing eulogy too.
It was good.
Yeah, like, he hit on all the points.
Like I want to salute after that. Like, hey, good job, my man. Like it hit you in the heart. You felt it. And he even made it known that even though she gave me a hard time, like she made me a better cop. And I'm sitting here like, this nigga is crazy. He killed her. Like we over here, everybody's like, this is so good. Like crying because he did it. And the whole time, what gets me is the girlfriend, which I guess when she killed herself, it was her ex-girlfriend because they had broken up. So she also is stuck with this information that, Burke gave her that last dinner that they had, where if something happens to me, just know it's not what it looks like. It's not as it seems. And you got to know that if, you find out your ex-girl kills herself, and she tells you that, then you got to know, like, hey, something is off here. But nobody wants to hear what she has to say. The dad obviously was against the fact that his daughter was a lesbian. That is very clear in how he speaks to her, which I have to remember what time frame we are in here. While there's still people like that, the level of anger that he had at that girl, whew, that's definitely some 80s shit. And I also looked at the captain, and she's trying to talk to him. He don't want to hear it neither. Nobody wants to hear what she has to say, because Burke had dug herself such a deep grave by the time that she died that nobody even wants to believe that she was a good cop anymore. Right. And it's crazy because she really didn't do shit. She was just trying to let it be known that her partner was dirty.
Right.
That's it.
And can I say, I think it's pretty ill, just TV/movie wise, that Omar Epps has a character on the other side of the showing up to a funeral when you were the killer trope, when it was Bishop and Juice and killing his homeboy and showing up to the mom's house, to give her a hug and eyeballing him, to his character now on this show showing up to giving a eulogy, which is probably a step even more brazen than showing up to the crib, to the repast of your friend that you killed's mom's, right? Like I think that is so ill. That's an ill juxtaposition there. Yeah. And we've seen it in Power as well. There's just so much flagrant activity. And I think it's interesting that the feds are once again involved. They're setting up shop in the precinct. He meets Ogden, I believe, the guy who's like the special task, the liaison between the feds and the cops.
Away from going to Florida.
Right. Ready to retire, and now he got to deal with the feds. He's like, I got to deal with Ellie and Ness and the Untouchables, dealing with them. So now Howard realizes, one, now that the feds are involved, it could expose him and what happened and everything else that's been going on. They want to get them in and out. And two, you can see this police department, they want these investigations to go by quickly. They want Burke's case closed because in their current environment, people locked up are being released because of a bad cop who cooked a lot of evidence. So now, if they find out that Burke was doing something super dirty, they got to know ahead of time, because it could tank a whole bunch of cases that they had against people, which probably should if there were cops planting evidence and cooking evidence and doing illegal stuff to try to get convictions. Sure, let them people out. But from the cops' perspective, they're not trying to have a powder keg turn into a nuclear bomb explosion within their precinct. So they're trying to make sure that they tie up all those loose ends, which is the same reason why the captain was not trying to hear Foyle, Burke's ex-girlfriend, talk about anything. Like, you got to let her rest in peace, because she was barking up so much trees. Yeah. And meanwhile, there was a pack of dogs barking up her. Right? Like, that's just what it was. Like, you've been doing all this illegal activity or inappropriate activity, but now you trying to point the finger at other cops, and it ain't even at this point to them whether or not there's guilt or innocence. It's whether or not you were trying to cover up your activity by throwing the scent off of you towards other people. And the wild part is, Burke was right the whole time. But she went about it in a crazy way. She went about it in a unsavory way. Yeah. And now it's leading people to doubt her to the point where they think she would kill herself.
Which is wild to think about, The girl part of me wishes she had just told, the way she called out Howard in the car, a part of me wishes she had just told that piece to somebody. Like, I know you have a son. I know, how did you know he was your son and that he shot you? There's so many things that I wish and we don't know. She may have had a notebook somewhere, a recording somewhere. We don't know all the things that Burke may have. And, I know that Howard, he probably needs to get access to her files, because ain't no telling the information that she has in there. So I want to hope and pray that Burke was smart enough to know that she could be killed and left behind some breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you also look at it from the perspective of Juke, where she was genuinely just trying to somewhat help the girl. I mean, it was still beneficial to her, let's be real. But she did want to help Juke. And I almost feel bad for Juke, because if you look around, everyone that she had somewhat of a relationship with has died. Like, it's wild to me. Juke is just death on top of death on top of death. And we're starting to see her character have to deal with all of the things that she suppressed. And with Burke's death also on top of that, I think that's where we're going to start to see the shaping of the Juke that we knew in the Power universe. So I don't know. It's kind of wild to me that Burke, people actually believe she killed herself. I mean, she was going about it the wrong way, but damn, she killed herself? Nobody's questioning that. Nobody.
Yeah, I don't think they want to question it because of all of the turmoil she was bringing to the precinct. So they're just like, hey, it looks like she killed herself. It doesn't seem like there's any foul play. We throwing our hands up until we get evidence otherwise. But I thought you brought up a great point about Juke and her processing the pain that she's going through. Yeah. Looks like she wants to get out of Queens. Why? By hook or by crook, she just wants to get out. Looks like that she might be looking into enlisting in the army, and these might be the breadcrumbs that we see that are planted for who her character ends up becoming. Yeah, she's trying to get out, and Nicole's dad pulls up on them and has another singing opportunity, which allows her to reconnect with Lou and reconcile that whole thing where Lou, he stood up. And I think his relationship with Rock and his experiences with her kind of helped him to stand up about what happened. Because the fact of the matter is, he did steal her song. He did do her dirty, and that's his family. That's his blood. So he admitted to all of that. He apologized, and now he's working with her to try to prepare her for this girl group. And
sorry, the feds is clearly in my background.
Symphony about to knock on your door.
Symphony's coming. He's a fed, and I stand behind that. Now, if he show up, I'm just letting y'all know. If something happens to me, Symphony did it. That's all I'm saying. I'm pulling a Burke right now. Here.
That is crazy.
I'm just saying.
Crazy.
Y'all know how I feel about it. But back to Juke. 100% agree with you there. I'm glad that Lou stood up and took that. Like, she told him, like, she kept saying in the past, like, I know you stole my shit. And he would deny it, almost gaslit her to a point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I love that he stood up and said, you know what, I messed up. And he's attempting to make it right by working with her. The one thing we can say is Lou, he hears and knows good music. So he does have the ability to help Juke. And I think that her music is what is going to give her the ability to heal, because we know she had those moments with Nicole. But it was just really weird to see Nicole's dad and Marvin talking and getting along, because it makes you just wonder if Nicole was still here, like how that could have taken place, because they're just sitting there and Marvin's like, how did you keep me from this guy? Like, they literally shooting the shit. And I'm like, this is the most random. He pops up at I just don't know how they keep getting this guy to play this role. He comes in once a season and it works. And I just love that when Marvin asked Juke, he said to her, like, what are your plans? What do you want to do? And she's just like, I don't know. And the smile that she had on her face, it's like almost like a freedom. Like, nothing is planned. She can make the decisions that she wants to for herself. And it's good to see her finally taking that step forward and leaving the past behind, leaving that pain behind.
Yeah, leaving it behind. And although we know there's some more pain in the future, it's going to be interesting to see how she gets to that point.
I hate that.
Power After Hours, your favorite Power podcast, talking about Flip Mode, Season 3, Episode 2 of Raising Kanan, tapped in with you live, you on the replay, you on the podcast, gang. This is Power After Hours. Kanan's an entrepreneur, man. I was seeing, like, he's an entrepreneur. I can't even hold you. He is an entrepreneur, and he is getting it. He is getting it. Like, famous better dedicate, like, a building to Kanan in his honor. He owes Kanan 100 favors, because this man should be evicted. He should have been evicted 5 times, but Kanan is the main one trying to work harder than he is. I really think Famous would just be on some, yo, bro, I'm on the street. I just got to figure out what to do. That man don't even know what food is in his fridge. I don't put it past him not to know when it's time to get evicted or when he's got to get this money, but he just seems more laid back. And Kanan is trying to press. This is when he sees Paul and this courier system going on where he's delivering packages across the city for people or whoever, customers. And the minute I saw that, I said, this might be drugs. What are these packages? I thought off rip it was drugs, but I guess it was something that was legit. And I loved how Kanan was pressing dude, asking him about his business. How much do they make? Where do they gotta go? How many packages a week? He's breaking it down. And at one point, Paul was like, yo, it's either you want to do it or not. And he kind of says no, and then comes back afterwards to try to cut a deal to move weed. And I knew it was crazy when Paul was like, well, I'm going to have to negotiate my cut. You're going to have to pay my driver. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. They'll probably be making 2, 3, 4 times what they were making before. It's nothing. I got this. And this is a high school kid schooling an adult how to elevate their game. And you see it with the way he contemplates things and he can analyze a business opportunity. He's real precocious for his age and for his status. And this is a dude who wasn't even in the game like that a year ago. And now he's really on this quest to be his old boss and not have to ask Rock for anything. And it's just ill to watch the progression.
I mean, he don't want to talk to his mother. I don't want nothing from my mother.
Fuck Rock.
Like, yeah, like, I mean, how many times is we gonna say that? Like,
I don't fuck with my mother. I don't fuck with her. You want me to talk to my mother, Fame? Yo, Fame, how am I going home? I ain't fucking going home, Fame. I'm about to get this money with you. Fuck
he got that voice like he's always high, but it really be Fame that's high as hell. Like, Famous can't get one sentence out. Like, he is so blown all day long. All we see him doing is smoking all day long. Like, where is he getting the money for that? That's what I'm trying to find out. Because where is the money coming from? Famous don't got no job. And you know, you got old boy over here just trying to he's coming up with all these ideas. Like, Kanan is smart. And that's the one thing, like, even in the future power, Kanan is smart. Like, he just knows, it's something about how he's able to just calculate things. And we kind of got that with when he was taking symphonies class. Like, you got a little bit of just how much of a genius that he low-key is. And you see that in the decisions that he makes. Like, he just understands the game in a different type of way for a kid. And I'm starting to wonder, at what point did we ever find out at what point he meets Ghost for real? Like, at what point in his age?
They speculate that it was when Ghost and Tommy were teenagers and they met him. So I think there is an age difference there. I don't think they weren't all the same age. I believe Kanan is a few years older than them when they met Breeze and him.
Okay, so
that's what I think. But at this point, they could take liberties with that because we just know that they knew each other in the past. So if they whatever they want to do with the origin story, they can. But I believe if I remember correctly from Power, they would say they met him as teenagers.
That's what I thought.
Right. And he went away for 10 years and he comes back and Ghost has kids, right? At that time, he has teenage kids. So it depends on how long they knew him before they set him up to go to jail.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have
by the time they meet him, they probably like younger than him.
That makes sense, because the more we're talking just about how smart he is. I'm like, damn, he you know, at his age, at some point we got to bring in Ghost here. Like, I don't know where it's gonna come in, but I actually really love watching Kanan's scenes just to see the stuff that he comes up with. And you know, he gives his mom so many chances to tell the truth. Just one time, I want Rock to tell this boy the truth so that he could come home and stop living with Famous ass. Because it's ridiculous. And, you know, she comes with this car and as a peace offering, you know, and gives him the keys. Kid don't got no license, you know, and he pulls up and he, you know, she's saying all this stuff. and he says, he brings up what's the dude that she killed? What's his name?
Scrap.
He brings up Scrap, and she lies again. And I'm just like, Rock, you killed him. He knows because Lou told him in the last episode everything that happened. So he's just kind of giving her an opportunity to tell the truth, and she chooses to lie again. And all she's doing is pushing Kanan further and further away from her. And it's gonna get to a point where I think she's gonna have to come back in the game, because it's gonna be something where she has to save his ass, or something, where she's in competition with her son. And that's just sad. You didn't have to keep pushing him so far away like that with your lies. All he wanted was the truth. And I think that Kanan could have handled it. I do.
He gave her another opportunity. Gave her another opportunity, and she lied again, and he knew she lied again. And those are just a lot of unforced errors. So we're gonna see what happens with Kanan in this new business. Is he gonna get it rocking? Is it gonna be another pitfall? I don't know. Let's get to these super chats. Roz, thank you so much. I'm giving because of Jeff's impressions. if I knew y'all was paying for impressions, y'all, it would have been like stand-up comedy. It would have been a Netflix special up in this here. So Roz, thank you for the fucking donation, Roz. I don't fuck with my mother, but I fuck with you and everybody on Power After Hours. It's how we do it.
Yes. I feel it. I like it, man. You sound just like that dude. For real.
It's him sad. with a New York accent, as 50 would be if he was a young Kanan. It's hilarious. I've seen it. If y'all go to our IG page, and I posted a skit from Raising Kanan where this dude is like impersonating Kanan. It is hilarious.
I gotta catch that.
Jacoby, thank you so much for the super chat. I think Howard's storyline will play a huge role for everyone. He's been dirty since the beginning. Dirty cops can't ever be trusted. This might be what brings the precinct down and everybody around them. There are so many holes in this, and there's an opportunity for this to end tragically for so many people. I'm just looking to see the way it unfolds. I don't think it bodes well that the feds are there. I think the fact that Foyle is still around, the ex-girlfriend, the heat isn't off. Yeah. And there's going to be constant pressures for him to close this case and to cover his track. So we don't know. And when people get desperate on these shows, they do stupid things. They do really stupid things. So we're going to see what stupid thing Howard is going to do. Chrissy, do you have anything else?
Oh man, no man, it's a solid episode. I'm gonna pray for Lou though. Lou going through it, man. Him and this alcohol, I don't think it's gonna end well. And
he's
I don't know. I gotta pray. Y'all say a prayer for Lou. He gonna make it.
Lou might have to call the hotline soon because he's going through it. He might need Alcoholics Anonymous. He might need DARE. He might need all of that. He might need all of that because he is going through it. And I think for me, I think it was another solid episode. It was really good. This is to me, this is my favorite of the books since Power. Yeah. It's slowly creeping up there to be one of my favorites, if not the favorite from the Power series. I love what they're doing with this time period. I love the writing, how they're applying themselves. I love how they're creating conflict and not like it's not too convoluted. It flows naturally within the realms of the storyline, and every character is getting proper development. I don't think there's anybody that's being ignored. And I want to see how they introduce these new characters also. That's going to be what I'm keeping my eye on. But I thought it was a really dope episode, really dope episode of Power. Got another episode 3 next week. It's going to be really good. And yeah, I think it's going to be dope. I'm really enjoying the season so far, and I don't know where they're going with it next. I don't know who's going down. I don't know if there's going to be retaliation for Sal Baselli's death. Are they going to go after the families? Are they going to go after rocking them? Because I'm sure somebody saw Marvin's face.
He was black in a postal office uniform.
Right. Unless they think everybody look alike, that he good. Because you see that same thing with the tech bros and the finance bros who wanted the coke. He was like, yo, he got racially profiled, and that was the one time they were right. And he said, even if you were right, That's some fucked up shit to do. So don't do that.
And then he threw the napkin at him and yelled crackers. And they couldn't say nothing. They just was looking like, well, because it was the truth.
He ain't lied. Right. So that does it for Power After Hours, episode 2, season 3, Flip Mode. Chrissy, where can the people find you?
You can find me everywhere that you can think of at Chrissy B. Davis. That's my handle everywhere, even on LinkedIn. But don't holler at me there because I don't check it. What about you, Jeff?
That's crazy. Jeff J says all social media and also on YouTube, giving you the best in sports culture and commentary. Definitely tap in if you're a sports fan. Tap in with me, and we will talk about all things NBA going on this season. That's my focus. So that's my focus right now. A little bit of betting interspersed with that as well. So definitely tap in with us there. And as always, tell a friend to tell a friend about the Power After Hours YouTube channel. You get live recaps every week that the show is on. We on with it. Like this video if you love what you're hearing. Comment on this video too. Tell me what was your favorite part of the episode. We definitely check the comments on there as well. Subscribe to this channel. Even if you're in podcast gang and you don't get to check the lives, check us out. Check us out on video. See our reactions, our live reactions, and you can put the faces to names and see what we're doing. It's physically see what we're doing on this show and why stuff is so hilarious. And it also helps for our brand and our channel to grow. So I really appreciate y'all when you do that. And that does it for this episode. We're locked in. We're ready for another week. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day and a great week. We will tap in with you next week. Y'all have a great evening.
Peace.